Let's code ABAP, guys. Hi and welcome back everyone, me Robert here. Today we will build this application with ABAP and the ABAP RESTful application programming model. This app allows you to display your favorite YouTube videos in SAP, to edit and to delete them, and to create new ones. You will learn how to create a table and how to insert data into it with an executable ABAP class. Then we will provision an OData 4 service and adapt the UI with Metadata Extensions. Additionally, we will create a virtual element for the thumbnail URL in the projection view, and then we will display the thumbnail URL as image in the first column of our list view. If you like this content, please consider giving a like and subscribe so you guys can keep up to date with all of our videos. Now sit back and relax and enjoy the video. Let's do a quick live demo. Here you can see the YouTube Tutorials app that we're gonna build. In the list view you can see the title of the videos, the description, as well as the link to the corresponding video. This is a hyperlink, so you can click on it and watch the video. Hi everyone, we're Robert here. While these three fields exist in the database table as well as in the CDS view entity, the first column, which contains the thumbnail, is just a virtual element. This virtual element is part of the projection view and gets calculated when the UI gets displayed. We will insert these records through an executable ABAP class. However, the app also gives us the feature to edit, create and delete these records manually. For example, we can click on one of these videos. Here we can click on edit on the top right side. And here we are free to change everything as we need. For example, we extend the description and then we click save. Here we can click on show more and we can see that the changes have been saved. Additionally, you can enlarge the thumbnail by clicking here on the thumbnail on the top left side. But now let's develop this ABAP app from scratch. I've opened already Eclipse, which is our development environment for ABAP. If you're not familiar with Eclipse and if you don't know how to install or use it, please watch my previous video, Eclipse for ABAP developers. First, we need to create a package for our new app. I create this package by right-clicking on Favorite Packages, New, ABAP Package. Here I enter a name and a description for this package. I name this package Video and I give it the descriptions YouTube Videos. I add it to the favorite packages and the super package is set local. Then I click Next. Next again. Here I create a new transport request. I name it Video. And then I click Finish. Once the package is created, I can find it here under my favorite packages. Now I will create a table in the data dictionary where we will store the YouTube videos. For this purpose, I right-click on my Z video package here, and then I click New, Other ABAP Repository. And here I search for Table, and I choose Database Table from this list. I name this table Z Video as well, and the description is YouTube Videos as well. Now I click Next and Finish. This creates a basic definition file for my table where I now can add my required columns. These are title, which is of type abap.car, 256 length, and the URL of the video, which is also of type abap.car, 256. And then we add a field for the description of type ABAP car 1024, for example. So these are basically the fields that describe our videos. But additionally, we want to add a key. So we add a new line here with key. I name this field YouTube UUID. And this unique ID is of type sys_UID x16, and it must not be null. Additionally, I add some other fields which hold the timestamps and the user who created or changed the data. I copy in these fields as follows. Please note that these fields are mandatory if you want to use the generator to create further development artifacts for you. But now allow me to make a simple change to this key field here. I do not want to name it YouTube UUID, but I want to name it Video UUID so that it's more generic and in line with my table name here. Now we can save this table with Ctrl S, and then we activate it with Ctrl F3. Please note that we have not added a field for the thumbnails here, since we will add the thumbnails later on in the projection view. But now let's fill our table with content. For this purpose, we create an executable ABAP class. We right-click on our package again, and then we hit New ABAP class. We name this class ZCL Video Generator, and Video Generator in the description. Since we want to make this class executable, we need to add a specific interface by clicking Add here. And then we choose the interface if OO ADT class run. Then we hit Next. We use the same transport request as before and we hit Finish. This creates a basic class definition and implementation. So what we will do in this method now is to insert the YouTube videos into the table. For this purpose, we first create an internal table in the memory. We type data internal table of type table of our video table, followed with a dot. Then we fill this internal table with values. For this purpose, we type itab is value hashtag. And then we can add the records as follows. Video UID is. With this statement here, we can create a unique ID. Then we add a title. For testing purposes, I just enter my title here. Then I add the URL. My URL, for example, and then I add the description. My description. The next field we have to fill is local created by. So we add it here, is, and we fill this field with our system username. The next field is local created at, which requires a long timestamp. Therefore, we first have to get the timestamp in a variable. We do this by adding this line to our method, get timestamp field data, and then the name of the variable, for example, timestamp long, TSL, followed by a dot, and then we can copy this field and add it into our table. Local created at is timestamp long. The same we can do for the other remaining fields, which are also timestamp and users. So I simply add these fields here as well. I've prepared this statement before. I copy and paste it right in here. So now we have filled all fields here. So for each record you would add a line like this one here. And then we can insert this virtual table into our real table. We do this by writing insert set video from table add iTab followed by a dot. Before inserting the videos into the table, we make sure that this table is empty. Therefore we type delete from set video dot. After we have inserted the entries into the table, we want to output the number of entries we've added. So we type out write followed by a dot. So in our case, this should output 1 entries inserted successfully. Now let's save this class with Ctrl S. So here we get the error message, the line 24 exceeds 255 characters. Source code cannot be processed, but we can click here on wrap too long lines and Eclipse will fix this for us. Now we click Ctrl S again. Then we activate the class with Ctrl F3 and then we can execute this class by pressing F9. And here in the console you can see that it says 1 entries inserted successfully. Now instead of this test data here, I insert real videos now into this iTab. So I delete this line here and I insert my real videos. Now I save and activate it again. And then I run it again. And now you can see that it successfully inserted 4 entries. Now let's build the views, the services and the UI for our app. For the sake of simplicity for this video, we use the generator for that. So we go to our table in the Project Explorer here again. Then we right click on this table and here we click on Generate ABAP Repository Object. We want to build a UI service, so we click on OData UI service. This will create a CDS view entity, a CDS behavior definition, an ABAP implementation class, the CDS projection view entity, the CDS projection behavior definition, a draft database table, the metadata extension, a CDS service definition, and a service binding. The CDS view entity will allow us to display the data. The CDS behavior definition and the ABAP implementation class will help us with creating and editing the data. In the CDS projection view entity, we will add a virtual element later on. In the draft database table, the data will be stored until we save it finally. And the metadata extension will allow us to define some annotation to adapt the UI layout. And finally, the CDS service definition and the service binding will allow us to create an OData 4 service for the UI. So here we click Next. The package is set video. And then we hit Next again. Here we can see how the rep model structures our artifacts. So basically it generates the business object with a data model and its behavior, a service projection with the service projection entity and its behavior, and the business service with the service definition and the service binding. For each of these artifacts, rep suggests names. We could change all these suggested names. However, I'm fine with these and for now, and I click Next. Here you can see the repository object names. I click Next here. I use the previously created transport and I click Finish. Once the artifacts are created, we can see them here on the left-hand side in the Project Explorer. For example, you can see here the draft table that has been generated, or the core data services with its data definitions and the metadata extensions, but also the service definitions and the service bindings. In order to use our service, we have to publish it. For this purpose, we open the service binding and we click on Publish here. Once the service is published, we can click on it here in the Entity Set and Association, and then we can click Preview. This asks for your credentials, and then it opens your UI, the Preview UI, in the web browser. Here we now can click on Go on the right-hand side. Here you can see that it now displays a list of our videos. However, it's not very well formatted. It does not display the thumbnails here. Instead, it displays the UIDs here in the first column, which we do not want to see here. It does not provide clickable links to the videos yet, and we don't want to see this created by column here on the right-hand side. So how can we change that to our needs? The answer we can find in the core data services in our Project Explorer. Here in the data definitions, you find the CDS view entity named setRVideo, and on top of this CDS view entity, you can find the projection view here. And for this projection view, you can define annotations that basically define the behavior of the UI. We define these annotations in the metadata extensions here. So if we do not want to display the UID here in the UI, we simply can type @UI.hidden, and we can set it to true. This will hide the UID from the UI. And if we want to provide a clickable link to the URL here, then we can go to the UI lineItem command here and add the following. Type with URL. This will tell the UI that we want to display a clickable hyperlink. And here we reference to the field where we want to display the hyperlink. In our case, we want to add the hyperlink to the field URL. Furthermore, I want to display the URL field after the description field. I can accomplish this by providing a higher position number to the URL field than to the description field here. Since the description field has the position number 40, I change the position for the URL field to 45. 45, 45, and 45. Please note that lineItem specifies the position in the list view, and identification defines the position in the object view. And the position in the selection field defines the position in the selection field section. Finally, we want to hide all the timestamp fields and the user fields. So we scroll down. Here we find local created by. Here we add UI hidden is true as well. The same we do for local created at. And last changed by. Local last changed at. And last changed at. Then we save this file with Ctrl S. We activate it with Ctrl F3. Then we switch back to the UI and we reload it. And we click on Go. And you can see that the unnecessary fields are not available anymore, and that the URL field comes after the description field. And furthermore, the URL field displays the clickable hyperlinks to the YouTube videos. So now you have a fully functional ABAP application that allows you to create, edit and delete entries in your database table. For example, you can click on Create here. Here you can enter, for example, my first video, my description, and a URL. And then you can hit Create. And you can see that your entry has been created. Let's double check this in our list view. Here in the last row you can see your latest entry here as well. You can check it in Eclipse as well. Here you can go to your data definitions and you right click on your project view. And here you go to Open With and you select Data Preview. This now shows you all 5 records in your database table, including the last one which you entered manually. Back in the list view, I delete this last entry again by selecting it, and then I hit Delete. Delete this object, delete. It says the object is deleted. Now let's add the thumbnail in the first column of a list view. As already mentioned, we will create a virtual element for this. So we switch back to Eclipse and we open the project view here in the data definitions again. And here in the project view, we add the following information after the unique ID. A virtual field starts with the keyword virtual. So we define a virtual thumbnail field with this line. The virtual thumbnail field will contain the link to the thumbnail of the YouTube video. However, we will not store this link, but we will calculate it with this ABAP class. We define this behavior with this command, object_model.virtualElement calculated by ABAP, and then the name of the ABAP class here. This class does not exist yet, but we will create it in the next minutes. Please note that this statement is red here since this class doesn't exist yet. In the next line, we can provide the label for this field, which is thumbnail. And very important is the next line, semantics.imageURL is true. This statement is responsible for displaying the image of the thumbnail instead of its URL. But now let's implement this class. For this purpose, we right-click on the source code library and then we click New ABAP class. Here we add the name of our new class and here we add a description, create virtual element for thumbnails. On the interfaces sections, we need to click on Add here. And here we choose this interface, if saddle exit calc element read. Then we hit OK. Next. And finish. This created our class. However, there is an issue with this line here. The use of interface is not permitted. However, this appears to be an issue with the generator, so we simply can remove this line here. Since we can see that this interface has already been created here and the relevant methods are here as well. The relevant method for our use case is the calculate method here. Here we can extend the projection view with additional calculated fields. So here we will build the thumbnail URL from the video ID. The thumbnail URL has this structure here. Therefore, we have to create this URL with the video ID here of the corresponding YouTube video. We can get the video ID from the video URL here. We can do this by entering the following lines of code. With these two lines, we basically read the data of the projection view into the variable video, and here we loop through all the videos. With this line, we extract the video ID from the video URL. We can do this with the segment command. The segment command basically splits a string by a defined separator. In our case, the separator is a slash that splits the URL in 4 fields. And the 4th field is the video ID. Therefore, by defining index is 4 here, we get the video ID back. Then we concatenate the strings, this one, and the video ID, and the suffix as defined here. Therefore, eventually, this loop assigns the correct thumbnail URL to the virtual thumbnail field. And finally, with this line, we send back the calculated data, including the thumbnail, to the projection view. Now let's save that and let's activate it. Now let's open the metadata extensions of the projection view again. And here we now add the column for the thumbnail with a position 5 that is lower than the position of the title, so that the thumbnail gets displayed before the title. Now let's save and activate again. We switch back to the browser and we refresh the screen. Then we hit go and we can see that the calculated thumbnails are displayed in the first column. Now let's click on the title of a video to view the object page. And here in the header, we want to display the title and the thumbnail as well. So we switch back to the metadata extension of the projection view. Here we remove the existing header info and we add the new header info as follows. This line will display the image of the thumbnail in the header of the object page, and this line will display the title in the header of the object page as well. Now let's save this file and activate it. Now let's switch back to the object page in the browser and hit refresh. Now you can see that the title is displayed here in the header. Along with the thumbnail here on the left hand side, you can click on the thumbnail to enlarge the picture. So that's all for today. If you like this content, please click the like button, subscribe button, also notification bell below. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.